How do you know when you're new to YouTube when the best lighting that you have is in your bathroom and you actually consider doing a video on your toilet? Is that weird? Well, what's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name's Alyssa, and I help people change their lives by changing their minds. So don't forget to click the bell icon to get a notification whenever I do upload a new video. And let's get started. Today I want to talk about how to achieve your highest potential. And I believe in order to achieve our highest potential, we have to let go of some of the stories that we tell ourselves. I believe that our external world is only playing out for us what we believe on the inside. So therefore, if we can find a way to change what we believe on the inside, we will see the new picture or the new story play out in our outside world, right? So I forget who turned me on to this analogy, but I did read or hear, it was quite a while ago, but there's an analogy of our outside world being like a movie, and we're just a character playing in the movie, right? So if we want to change who we are as a character, or change the movie, therefore we would change the belief systems behind it, okay? So the analogy is the outside world is a movie, and the film strip is our belief systems, and then our eyes are just the projector. So everything we believe is being projected for us through our eyes, and then we're viewing it in the outside world. So if you want to change something, then you would change it on the inside first, like I said. So for example, I'll give you a quick example. I know someone, this person is in their mid-50s, I believe, and he lost his job maybe, I think like 5 years ago. So he lost his job about 5 years ago, and he started to go on job interviews as he, was getting calls to come on these interviews. So he's going on these job interviews and no one's hiring him. Well, in his mind, what he came up with, or how he was perceiving it, was no one wants to hire someone in their 50s, okay? So he was saying, they just want like a millennial, they want someone young working for them, they want this, they want that, whatever. So that's what he was coming up with. That was the story that he was telling himself. So therefore, every job interview that he kept going on, in his mind, he believed that they wouldn't hire him because he's old, no matter where he went to interview. So that's what kept showing up in his outside world. Some beliefs are obviously deeper than others in the subconscious mind. So some stories are easier to change than others. If you have specific beliefs around money, for example, and what money means to you, then let's say, for example, you're trying so hard, no matter what you do, you can't seem to escape debt. No matter how much money you save, no matter how hard you work, you cannot seem to escape debt. Well, let's go back to belief systems. And all of our belief systems are first, they're planted in our minds at a very young age, depending on how we perceive certain things in our environment, our parents, our friends. That's what forms our belief systems, which therefore develops our personality. So if you're coming up against something that's just limiting to you, and you keep seeing the same scenarios being played out in your mind over and over, you may want to take it back to when did this develop? And this is something I want to change, so I'm seeing a different story. So the story that we hold on to is what will continue to be played out. So back to my example, about money. If you grew up with limiting beliefs behind money, no matter what you do or how hard you work, it's going to continue to show up. Some of these beliefs, of course, will be subconscious. Others are more on a conscious level. So when you start to change the story about what money means to you, your outside world will then change. We could also use the example of, I'm a personal trainer, so I work with a lot of people who the story that they tell themselves, a huge part of the story is, I'm fat. I've always been fat. Maybe I'll just always be fat. No matter what I do, I can't lose weight. This is just a story that you're telling yourselves. I promise you, you have the power to be, do, have whatever you wish for in your life if you let go of the stories, which are very limiting. So there's a million different examples, but I love to use the movie analogy because it really helps us understand that rather than trying to change our world from the outside to help us feel happy on the inside, we have to change our world from the inside, and then the outside just won't matter anymore. The story that we're playing out will be different, and it will only continue to improve the more we work on our internal stories. So I hope this is helpful to you. I think it's been one of the biggest major ways that I've altered a lot going on in my life, especially through my spiritual awakening as I continue to learn more and more and, read about it. I've noticed that I start to play with it a little bit. So like I will wake up one day and maybe I'm feeling a certain way about something and I just decide I'm completely changing the story. And like I said, you can do it on smaller levels rather than always on a large scale. But for example, if you are in a job that you don't want to work at anymore, you're just like, I'm over this job. It's doing nothing for me. It's not stimulating. I don't feel like, whatever it may be. Let's say that you're a mailman. I don't know, just for example. And so you wake up and you're like, I'm changing my story. I don't want to be a mailman anymore. I'm literally writing a whole new story. When you work with changing your story and you work with the law of attraction, it's for sure life-changing. So let me know if you've come up with any examples or you have done it yourself and decided to wake up and just completely change your story one day. Changing your story is changing your life. So I don't want to discredit, however, how hard it can be for some, like I said, some ideas or some stories that we tell ourselves. Some of that stuff is very deep. And so the way to get to it is going to be dissecting the belief from the inside out. So, for example, we can go back to, from the fitness world when clients are saying, I'm fat or I'm overweight or I'm this or I'm that. How do they change that story? You change that story by figuring out, maybe you ask yourself, when did you start to gain weight? Or what's your relationship with food? Maybe you use food as a coping mechanism. So why do you think that you go to food as a coping mechanism? Lots of different things. Same thing with money. Did you grow up with your parents telling you that there's not enough money? Money doesn't grow on trees. So then your story as you get older is, money is very limited. Only the rich get richer and the poor continue to get poorer. So no matter what I do, no matter how hard I work, I'm never going to get out of this debt. It's all about the story that you tell yourself, and you can change this story at any time. And I think that's one really awesome thing to be grateful for too, is the fact that we have such an ability to co-create with the universe. The universe wants to give us everything we want. And so if we could just let it in, and I think one of the biggest ways that I tell people to be able to let it in is to drop the story. So law of attraction is for sure my best friend, one of my best friends. I love it. So if you guys have any questions for me, be sure to let me know in the comment box below. Let me know, like I said, if you've had your own experience with completely changing your story, which is so life-changing. And I will see you guys in my next video. Thank you so much for watching. I'm grateful for you all.